Now I
This is
feel a
why we
little
can't
bad.
have nice things.
Yeah, now I feel a little bad. All right, let's go live. And I remembered to change the thumbnail and the title and everything.
What? That's
Yay.
I'm so proud
It's
of myself.
like you're prepared and stuff.
Except now it says an error has occurred. Please watch again later. I'm assuming this is working. Could someone go check and make sure this is working? Because it tells me I'm live.
It's working for me.
Perfect. Good.
Yeah, it's working.
Because it's weird. It tells me I'm live. It also says an error occurred. Please try again later. So YouTube doesn't even know what's going on. Hi everyone.
I mean, do they ever?
No. It's hard to hate them because I mean they're free. So, but hello everybody. Welcome back to Curse of the Crimson Throne. Real quick before we get started. At the moment we have three lovely ladies as part of our party. My brother is dealing with he's a senior in high school and he is dealing with college exams, and he's doing the responsible thing. I'm very surprised that anyone his age would be that responsible, but he is stepping back from the game for a couple of weeks, several weeks or so, to focus on that, and then he will join us again when we get back to Corvosa, when this little excursion ends, however long that may be. So for the time being, it is just Elora, Sib, and Kadia. And me.
Yay.
And Shala.
Oh.
And a giant corgi.
Hell yeah.
Van Casterkin's around there somewhere.
Oh, he died.
No.
He died over the night through his wounds.
A fatal blow, crit one.
No.
He tried to sleep and got a crit. Oh, that poor guy. No, he will be there. I promise. So, we ended last session with you guys starting to leave town. But we are going to pick up just a little bit before then, for two reasons. First and foremost, Rhea.
Yes? What?
What? Hang on.
What?
Sorry, no, Rhea. Do you know what you want to buy souvenir-wise?
I'm picking some stuff up.
Gotcha.
Right
No, that's
now
perfect.
off
Just want
of
to
the
know.
thing.
So I'm multitasking, so my mind is everywhere at once. So first things first. As you guys are preparing to go, Freya would join you that morning, and she would go up to, you'd probably go up to Ross, and would say, Ross, do you have a moment?
Sure. Okay.
I'm afraid I can't travel with you all now.
Oh. Okay.
Well, I mean, I want to, but, well, I think I want to. I don't know. It's been the past month. Lost my brother and my foster parent, and learned that she was a monster. And now the Academy has demanded my presence.
Why would they demand your presence?
Well, I am a student there. I suppose with all the, well, trials the town has been going through, it has been somewhat forgotten. But I suppose the Academy wants to make a strong appearance, or perhaps they simply want to question me since they know I was there. Whatever the case may be, I am a student, and they have the right to demand it of me, unless I choose to simply quit.
So, I assume by you telling me you're not decided that you're not going to quit.
I don't know yet. But until I do know, I would rather not take any actions that would close those doors to me. There's still much I can learn, even if I don't exactly agree with their philosophies. And Aras, you in particular know a bit about this. Your brother, despite his lack of magical abilities, had been uh, wooed by the Academy on several occasions due to his talents, but he staunchly refused to work with the Academy because, in his view, and perhaps some of that rubbed off on you, who's to say, but in his view, they were completely immoral, brilliant people, but entirely unethical. The Academy is not exactly, shall we say, good aligned. They are full of necromancers and wizards who think that ends justify the means no matter what. So, I mean, one of the graduation exams is to summon an imp and let it loose. So, definitely, some issues there.
Look, Ross is not in the habit of jumping to conclusions and making assumptions.
Sure.
No, I'm kidding.
They could be good imps. You don't know.
So she's not going to judge the Academy, even though she may have in the past. Who's to say? I mean, she was wrong about so many other things. Maybe the Academy isn't so bad. And just what? Are you going to continue? Are you going to stay at the Academy while we're gone, or keep in touch with Moiri?
I'm not exactly sure, but Murray has already offered me a place should I want it. She said something about being with family might be important right now. I do not yet know if I will take her up on it.
Well, I mean, you'll be here when we get back, right?
Oh. Yes, I suppose so, if you want me to. I know that you all are still... I do not fully understand who this Gadrian is, or why you so desperately seek his... well, whatever it is, but it is important to you, and I suppose in some way it's important to me. Yes, I will definitely see you again.
Oh, okay. You know how important it is to continue to learn and everything, and I'm not sure that we're going to be able to beat this guy on our own. So
I understand.
what you can to preserve your position. I'm sure we'll need all the help we can get back.
Yes. Be safe.
You too.
And with that, she will turn and briskly walk away.
And then there were 4.
Well, 5 if you count Joelstein. Well, 11 if you count the guard. Well, 12 if you count the corgi. Which brings me to my next question. All the guards, Enria, have mounts. What about you two, Aras and Amelia?
You think Amelia's ever ridden a horse?
She can join the corgi. I'm sure there's room.
Not for 3 people.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure Shawl is already up there.
You can be a chew toy.
We have a cow. Well, we had a cow.
I'm sure you're like 1/5 his weight. He can carry you.
Oh my god.
Jesus Christ.
You can ride on top of the wagon.
Is it safe up there?
There's a seat. I mean, like, basically, there's a seat where, the driver and a passenger have to sit. Do either of you know how to drive a wagon?
Nope.
No.
Well, there's room for one of you in the passenger seat of the wagon, and there would be room for one of you to sit, like, on the back of the wagon. Like where there's the shelf to step up onto. You could sit there well enough. It might get a little sore by the end of the day, but you can do it. It will be difficult to keep up on foot with horses in a wagon. Doable, but difficult.
I feel like you should get horses. Unless you want to be tied to the wagon and Jolacina rantings.
I mean, it's nothing new, and honestly, at this point, she would rather be close enough to keep an eye on her. If you want to get a
I'm okay staying there on the wagon too, near the fox. So I'm okay with that. You can take front watch, I'll take back. Trade every so often.
Sure.
She says
I don't know.
with
Well,
all
no,
the confidence.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. Hang on. Well, no, I don't have that anymore. What would it require to, like, do any strenuous horseback riding? Would that just, like, be straight up animal handling or dexterity or what?
Animal handling.
Oof. Okay. How much would a horse cost?
Yeah.
Good question. Give me a second. To rent or to buy?
To buy 75 gold
Well, keep in mind,
plus.
where would you stable a horse when you're done with your trip?
With the cow?
You mean in Old Corvosa that's blocked off?
Carlos. Well, we don't know if it's.
You could also get a donkey or a mule.
You could. So here's the deal.
Uh-huh.
Because you are friends of the Crimson Guard, you can rent a mule for 2 gold, or a riding horse for, what was that, 30 gold.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a huge difference in price between mules and riding horses.
Yeah.
Or a pony for 15 gold. And then you can just bring them back to the guard when you're done, when you come back.
Yeah, sure, horse. It's
All right.
like a shit ton of gold.
25 gold for the riding horse. What about you, Russ?
I'll do a riding horse.
Okay, so 25 gold for the both of you. No mules. That's all right. Just would have been a harder check.
Yay.
Would have made me smile. So, Ross, a chestnut mare is led out to you. A fine-looking horse, young, sturdy-looking. It's definitely not. It's not as big as the horses that the soldiers are sitting on, which are trained war horses, but it does look more agile. It's very well groomed, and as the guard leads it out to you, it says, "Her name's Elle, miss. She's gentle enough, just don't upset her."
L is in the letter?
ELL.
Okay. How am I gonna get up on?
You got a step ladder?
Roll me an animal handling check.
I mean, she's a little tall.
Yep. Maybe
Now
you
who's
should
the
have got a
short
pony.
one with a tall mount?
I mean,
Nice.
could have gotten a pony.
No,
It's-
too late.
Just get a riding dog.
So Aras attempts to get up on the stirrup and throw her leg over Elle, and Elle just takes 3 steps forward, and Aras misses. Make me a dexterity saving throw, please.
Oh
Okay,
Yeah,
14.
you managed to land on your feet well enough, but your leg didn't even get close to over.
You gonna help me get on him or not? You know, the soldier that helped me. That
Right.
brought him up.
And the guard just kind of
Hold
sighs
him
and
still.
cups his hand. Roll another animal check with advantage, please.
Six.
Elle, at this time, you step up under his hand, and he boosts you up. And as you do so, Elle sidesteps to the left, and you again make me another quick dexterity saving throw.
Oh man. Okay,
you
16.
again land on your feet.
This is why you fucks me. Holy shit. Oh my god. At that point, Amelia would just hold out her hands and just like, maybe you can just get a smaller horse.
We
Maybe.
we do have some mules, ma'am.
No, I'll ride on the wagon.
There is a passenger seat that's fairly comfortable.
Can I get my money back?
Yes, of course.
No refunds.
Yeah. Points to a sign that says no refunds.
Right.
Oh,
my
holy
God.
cow. Amelia,
Nobody ever said Ross had riding lessons.
if you would please make me a animal handling check.
Oh god. Okay. Oh my god. Come on.
Not one.
It's not. Why is it not?
Okay.
Darn.
Okay.
You it's not the most graceful, but you in one motion step up on the stirrup, throw your leg over, and settle well on oh gosh, I'm sorry, I described. So they brought to you a what's the male called? A gelding.
Gelding.
It's a gelding. He's black with white spots on him. More like a cow, less like a Dalmatian, if you know what I mean. Splotches, white splotches. Same basic quality. He's smaller than war horses, but he's well kept and well fed. And as the guard brings them to you, and they say, "This one's name's Lib. Good chap. Make sure to feed him plenty of apples, and he'll take you anywhere you need to go."
Right. All right. Yes, that's good. Okay. She somehow manages to do this. And as she's like sitting up in the saddle, looking down, just clearly very nervous. It's pretty clear that this is her first time riding a horse.
You hear a Ross mumbling, "Show off."
Incredible.
Yeah, definitely showing off right now. It's like top tier. Oh boy. So you want to roll animal handling for that mule?
No. I mean, I'm just gonna let you keep that same one for now. I'm trying to get a map into Fantasy Grounds. It's not letting me for some reason. Bow. All right, we'll continue, and I'll get that map in.
I also sent you a list on Discord. If
Actually, yeah. So tell you
any
what,
of that is
guys.
possible.
Tell you what, guys. Give me about a minute. Let me read over this list real quick, and I'll be right back with you.
It makes perfect sense that a Ross couldn't get on the horse. Dwarfs are not good horses.
Jesus.
Oh god.
That's fine. I need to anyway.
Yeah, well, while you're, you don't have to worry as much about steering, maybe.
Hey, maybe I can learn to drive. She's old enough.
Jeez.
Maybe on the way back.
How old is a Ross?
19?
Oh shit.
I keep forgetting that you're younger than Amelia.
Yep.
I didn't know that they were the same age.
He's like a year old.
No, she's like
No, Rhea
oh.
and Ross are the same age.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah.
So yes, all of those would be available. They would be pricey.
How much pricey?
I would say, give me a second here. Golden or gold?
Just like it can be painted or whatever. It doesn't
Okay,
matter. Just
gotcha.
like
Also, I would say miniature model of the city would be hard, but the
yeah, that's
quill in the
why.
book would be fine. Ooh, I'd say about 200 gold for the lot.
I can do that.
Yeah, so 200 gold, especially for that spell book. And the basic spell book
Yeah.
would do a couple cantrips and a couple level 1 spells.
Okay.
I assume they would be not devastatingly dangerous things. It'd be like sleep and friends, like stuff like that. Maybe
Yeah,
wait, I don't know.
mending,
I don't know.
stuff like that.
Would Rhea give like the friends spell?
Absolutely. Oh, friends.
Like,
prestidigitation.
are you worried that she might start trying to use this on like your parents or something?
With him, no. I don't think she'd be worried about that with him.
Gotcha. All right. Yeah. So 200 gold, and then you can get all of those
Got it.
made. Perfecto.
While Rhea's going around, can a Ross get a primer to the inner sea deities?
I'm sorry. What now?
Primer for the gods for the area.
A primer?
A book on the gods.
Oh.
Like, a primer, like a little intro for little kids.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank
Yes,
you.
you can.
Since she's gonna be writing, I'm sure she would have stuff to read.
Pathfinder deities.
Yeah,
for
you'd find like it'd be about 10 silver. It's not that expensive. Is this what I think it is? Oh, it is. Yay. Okay, perfect. So I give to you all a map of the outside of Corvosa. What you'll see of Corvosa in the bottom right. I'm sorry. Not the highest resolution map, but enough to give you an idea. And you are traveling. Rhea would be happy to tell you this. You are traveling to the Bloodsworn Vale, the mountains inside the Bloodsworn Vale. So it's about a 3-day journey. Maybe 4 with the wagon, depending on what kind of pace and the weather. But it's not that bad. It's 3 to 4 days. Of course, you would leave Corvosa on the southern side of the Jaeger River because you're not gluttons for punishment. And you would make your way across the grass plains for a day, and then you would spend 2 to 3 days traveling through the Bloodsworn Vale Mountains to reach Rhea's home. What would Rhea have told them about her home?
I mean, honestly, if they asked, she probably wouldn't shut up about it. So a lot. Probably like how the castle itself looks, how the mountain area itself is, um, maybe some of the creatures that are around and stuff like that.
Okay, certainly. So, so let me see if I can find an accurate representation. So she would tell you that her home is, as she said, a castle inside the mountains. So it's not just her order of paladins, but it's like it's not just her family. It's an entire order of paladins, and of course servants and tradesmen and things of that nature. It's small, but charming, rustic, I guess one would say. It is in the mountains, but on any given day, the castle can have upwards to 50 people inside it. Most of them paladins or paladins in training. The order of the Paladins of Love is actually 20 full official paladins, including Rhea now. 21 actually, including Rhea now. And of course there's family, there's kids, there's children, there's trainees. Not that many, Rhea, at least when you left, not that many trainees. There were only 6 trainees below you that had yet to take their exams like you were. Not including your younger siblings who, you know, weren't exactly in a rush to get their training done. But other than that, she'd be very proud of it. It's a very sturdy, well-built castle. Beautiful, gorgeous view. It's built in between 2 peaks. So it has a wonderful view of the Bloodsworn Vale, especially in wintertime. And yeah, other than that, she would tell you probably that they are charged with keeping peace and order in the Bloodsworn Vale. Anything else, really, I'd leave up to you as to what you would tell them or not.
Are we actually going into the Wyvern Mountains or
No, the Bloodsworn Vale.
what's one Vale?
So to the southeast of Corvosa.
Okay.
I don't even know where the Wyvern Mountains are.
North,
Oh,
near the
Those are near the Cinderlands.
yeah, no, that is the opposite direction of where you're headed.
That is definitely not a 3-day travel.
Yeah, you guys are booking it.
Okay.
Just cast haste. We're fine.
Ooh, I have it. I have it here. Give me a second here. This is perfect. Rhea, go ahead if you want to tell them anything else about anything that you would tell them during the journey. I'm preparing a nice, fun picture for you guys.
Oh boy.
Mhm.
Is there anything specific that you guys would ask? As I'm pulling up all of my notes.
Is it just the castle, or is there a surrounding city, or?
That's a good question.
No, it's just the castle. But the castle itself is has a few houses in it. Of course, a chapel, one very large tower. And while it doesn't have a moat per se, it is built high above the ground so that there's a bridge that goes to the main gates, and the back of the castle is built kind of into the mountain. So it's, as most castles tend to be, highly defensible. And like I said, big enough for 50 people to live comfortably. It's not like they're squashed together or anything. All right. So,
Oh.
unless you guys had any other questions.
I mean, Ross would just be asking general background, the castle and the area. Interesting bits of history.
interesting bits of history. Sure. Ria, you would know, and of course, I'm gonna say this with the assumption you'll tell them, and you can be like, "No, I don't tell them that part." You would know that your paladin order has been there for over 200 years, and its size has waxed and waned during that time period. The order was at its largest when it was 300 members strong, and that was about 75 years ago. However, due to people going off on quests or other needs, or more importantly, the encroachment of the mountains through several goblin tribes, the number has whittled quite a bit. And now the order is certainly not at its weakest, but much less strong than it was once in its heyday. And that would also bring forward the idea, or the stories, I suppose, of the fact that her family and all the other paladins are constantly dealing with raiding goblins. They're not incredibly dangerous. They've never attempted like an assault of the castle. They are goblins after all, but they are a constant nuisance. They are dangerous to the animals and villages around, and many of Ria's first missions as a paladin, or as a paladin in training, when she was, how to say this, I don't know much about the what their order ranks would be, but when she had been training for several years and was becoming a paladin, and starting to go on real missions, would have been with her older sister and other paladins to clear out little camps of goblins, or to protect villages from goblin raids. But over the many years, the goblins, while individually or generally speaking are not a huge threat, time and numbers have whittled the order down quite a bit.
Yep, so there you go.
Wow, fascinating. Thank you.
Your voice changed quite a bit.
The history. Did you have a frog in your throat? Do you need some tea?
I think I'm okay.
I would say too, at some point, Shala would also kind of chime in and say that there have been several ballads written about the Order of the Love Paladins, while many people, and she'll kind of like look apologetically at Ria when she says this, while many people don't take the order as seriously as some of your other brothers might be taken, there are many songs of hope and joy written about the Order of the Love for the Paladins. Not many heroic ballads, though, I'm afraid. And then she'll kind of look around and she'll say, "At least not yet."
Oh my god.
Oh boy.
The Lilac Order. Jesus.
Yeah. And Ria, you would know, whether you share this information or not, you would know your order. Well, I mean, you guys are paladins. And in your mind, of course, they're great warriors. Fighting's not always their first option. They're not like war-centric paladins, certainly.
Right.
So the idea that they would have many heroic tales, that's not really their thing. It happens. There's some, but that's not really their focus.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, the first day of the journey goes rather pleasantly. The sun is shining. It's mid-spring. The temperature is very fair. There's a gentle wind that sweeps across the plains from the mountains with just a slight hint of chill to it. And Ria, you would know this time of year up in the mountains does get cold. Not deathly cold, but certainly you would have advised everyone to bring cloaks up higher in the mountains in the mid-spring. But at the moment, it's very comfortable, very very sunny. And the peace of the journey is broken only by the unending screams of Jolistina that range widely from screams of rage and anger to sobs of despair, cries for her wrath, to screams of defiance. It lasts for about 3 hours or so before apparently she has shouted herself hoarse and can do so no longer.
There's a general sigh of relief among the party.
I think at some point Ria would have tried calm emotions, but we all know how well that spell goes.
Well, sure. What's the save?
Um, it is a charisma saving throw.
Okay, give me a second here. Oh, that's not bad. That's not. Hey, it succeeds. Why didn't it roll that? Oh, there it goes. Is your DC a 13?
No, it is not. It's
Okay.
15.
So, how long into it would you have tried it?
After like maybe a half hour.
Okay, so she doesn't shout herself ragged. The spell does work, and after that point, Amelia, you're the only one that can hear you and the driver of the carriage. She seems to have lain down, and instead of shouting, is just quietly, calmly saying, "Can't be true. You wouldn't leave me alone. You wouldn't." And she just does that for hours. And I would say, I'm sorry, Ross, you were the one that heard that. Amelia, you're on a horse.
I was gonna say, I mean, he's riding close, but not that close.
All right, you're on the horse. You're on Lib.
Yeah, Lib.
Lib?
Don't knock Lib. Oh, thank you. That's very helpful. Sorry, I just saw the message you sent me. So I would say about 6 hours into the trip. Up until this time, Van Kasterkin and the guards have taken up a defensive circle around you all, as if they are a protective perimeter.
Mm-hmm.
With one of the soldiers, or Van Kasterkin himself, taking places foraging out ahead as a scout, and then coming back in an hour and taking places and trading places. And they stay off the roads and very quickly just start going over the prairie itself. But I'd say about 6 hours into the journey, probably after lunch, you guys would have stopped about 4 or 5 hours into the ride to have some food. And as it's approaching mid to late afternoon, Van Kasterkin would quietly edge his horse over towards Amelia and ride beside her for about 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally go, so, last night at the feast, that didn't go so well, did it?
It was fine. The rest of the night, well, not to say that it was, it was fine.
Good to know. I'm sorry, Amelia. I am. I used to be so very good at talking to women. And then I thought I fell in love and thought that I knew the world, and then realized I was being manipulated by a noble. Well, ever since then, I've lost all confidence, one might say.
I mean, it's kind of understandable. If you think about it, you found out that who you thought was the love of your life had betrayed you, and that you were feeding people to people all in the same breath.
Right. Yes. Right.
She kind of looks away awkwardly, like, wow, why did I say that?
And he goes, well, it was my own fault. In any case, I wanted you to know that it was not you. It was me. And he kind of like nods to himself. Yeah. So, should probably get back to the front. I'll be scouting soon.
Van Casterkin, she kind of like raises a hand towards him and then closes her mouth, like she suddenly regrets actually like saying something, and then she takes a deep breath and says, thank you.
He'll look at you and then nod and give a small smile and say, would have been a fun dance though. And then start trotting back up towards the front. Feeding people to people.
Yup. Oh god. As he rides away, she just like puts a hand over her face, just like, really?
Anything else over the course of the day before you guys make camp? I'm handling this very narratively, kind of pulling back the camera, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Like later in the day, I mean, Uras would, like, while setting up camp, would talk to Amelia, but
Sure, we can move forward to that. You will find one thing of note, Rhea, as you are riding. Shala is constantly writing something, and like speaking quietly to herself. It seems to be something in rhyme. But anytime like you try to steal a glance or ask, she like pulls away and just constantly tells you, "None of your business. Not yet. Not ready yet."
Because she's riding on the corgi, right?
Right.
Would I be able to hear any of this?
Yeah. So you would hear her speaking quietly in rhyme, like whatever she's saying is in what is it called? Oh, I forget the word because I'm not good with the literature, but it's in rhyming stanzas. It's got a rhythm to it whenever she's talking. But
pentameter?
I'm sorry?
Iambic pentameter?
Yes, pentameter. Thank you. That's what I was thinking of. And you hear things like shot aloft, 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 till they found the cloth. No, that's stupid. And then like scratching something out. But that's
Gotcha.
basically the way it goes. Most of the time, she's more mouthing silently. It's only when she, even when you're trying to be quiet, but you're thinking about something, you'll forget and then start speaking aloud. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I can't imagine that it's easy riding
Why?
on the
No.
back of a,
So
of a giant corgi.
you will notice this from the glances you steal. Even on a corgi, her handwriting is really neat. It's almost calligraphy.
All right.
So with that, after about 10 hours of travel, you guys make it to the foothills of the mountains and take camp there for the night. Excuse me. Next to a small stream. It's very peaceful. The sun is setting over the mountains to the west, and the area is very quiet. Jolistina has fallen asleep, which is really the only person that would have been loud. Really, the only sounds you hear is the bubbling brook and the noise of birds, and once in a while you hear like a deer call off in the distance. But otherwise, very peaceful, especially for those of you who are used to city life. Very quiet, very peaceful.
About what time is this, you said?
This would be in the evening, so the sun is starting to set over the mountains.
Okay, gotcha.
So you guys, for point of reference, if you look on the map, you guys would be oh, hang on, what is it? Is it here? How do I forgot how to do arrow pointy things. Been so long. You guys would be like right here.
Okay, gotcha.
And the sun is setting to your west. Right. You said you wanted to speak to Amelia while you guys were setting up camp?
Yeah. So I figure, like, pull up some logs or something around the campfire.
Mm-hmm.
And we're also so and I have perhaps personal questions, but I don't know, maybe if Freya was here she about, but how do you know if somebody's dead? I mean not like their body is dead, but like, you know, their spirit, their ghost.
Amelia freezes whatever the hell she was doing and just frowns at you for a little bit, and when you finally are like, no, not the body, the spirit, she goes, oh, um, I suppose honestly, I think maybe Muiri would be better suited for that. I don't actually know that much about how, well, I mean,
You know, Murray, she doesn't really talk about non-living things. That's the polite way of saying it, right?
unliving. You,
Unliving?
oh, you, do you mean like necromancy or?
Yeah.
Oh gods, I thought you were talking about the afterlife.
No. That's definitely Maury's domain.
Yes,
But,
that's why I was confused.
I mean, more unnatural ways of things. Not to say that, you know, nobody around here or anybody's natural.
just tiptoeing on all these eggshells. After a moment, there's a little light bulb that kind of like clicks, and she shakes her head and says, you don't have to. There's very little natural about the undead. But if you're asking about whether or not to tell if something is undead, there are spells for it.
I'm wondering more how you make some, or how to tell somebody who's
You're cutting out. I can't hear you.
or how to tell somebody who's alive. I mean, I went to the graves before we left. And I can't be sure, but I think Adrian was there. And
When you visited?
no, a long time ago. Long time back. Probably before I even came back to the city. But like, can you raise the body? Would it be able to like just way? Or I mean, like with your sister? How did that happen?
Um, at that point, she kind of glances around a little nervously. Is anyone like actively like by them or anything like that, Squee?
I mean, not within earshot if you're speaking quietly. No, everyone's kind of focused on making a camp.
For us, we're trying to be quiet.
Okay, yeah.
She would try. I'm not making guarantees about it, but she would try.
Roll stealth. Oh, God. She would kind of shuffle nervously and fiddle with the pearl ring and say that wasn't quite a traditional spell, I would say. It's not even something that I think I could recreate.
Oh,
I'm not quite sure how to explain it, but she is as my twin, we were already connected. I suppose I used that connection to anchor her to me.
okay.
And that is how she remains.
Do you typically need a strong action to anchor somebody?
I wouldn't know. Um, like I said, it wasn't a spell that I had ever learned or studied. It was very in the moment. I didn't even really realize what I was doing until I had done it, and then it was done.
Do you wish you could do it?
She looks kind of surprised and thinks for a moment. I no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't undo it. She's still very important to me, and I wasn't quite ready to let go. I'm not sure that I am ready.
Yeah, I know how hard.
Your brother, were you close with him?
He was pretty much the only person he was close with. My dad wasn't very supportive. In fact, not really sure you find much luck in previous existence. His gravestone. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You're just kind of fading in and out.
You're a little breaking up, yeah. You want to go ahead and jump out and jump back in real quick? That might fix it.
Okay. I just happened to notice, like, I looked down and it wasn't actually, green light wasn't on, so.
You're not breaking up now, so that's a plus.
Okay.
Yay. But yeah, his head's down.
Oh, it said, the only child of a loving father. So, yeah. And most people didn't know I existed, but Will was always there. He would always take his time, take time with me. But he was older, and older siblings don't always have time for their youngers.
Amelia gives you kind of a sad smile and says, well, to be fair, we were the same age and tended to be along the same lines. I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm not very good with socializing. But Annika, she was rather incredible, and everyone loved her. So while I trailed behind her like a little shadow, she just took off further and further away. I suppose it's inevitable. Who wants dead weight dragging around after all?
I'm sure she didn't see you as dead weight. I mean, I know my brother didn't see me that way. Even though he gave up a lot to be around. But
Well, you said that you think he was raised?
when I was there, one of the nuns was telling me, there were two nuns and they got into an argument about how many people arrived versus how many people left. And apparently an old man and his son had come to visit. And apparently there were 3 of them when they left. And I mean, when I was sitting there at his headstone, it didn't seem like I was talking to him. I mean, he's dead, of course. Don't get me wrong. I'm not crazy. I didn't expect to hear a response, but it just seemed empty. You know?
She nods and folds her arms over her stomach and goes, "It's... oh my god.
I wish Faust was here. He would definitely know.
Did he know a great deal about death? Or magic regarding death?
Wasn't that what he was studying at the university?
I wouldn't know. I never met him.
I just assumed by the way he kept going on about the afterlife and what it was like to die and come back. I mean,
Perhaps his sister will have some insight on it. Maybe she would even have access to notes that he had made. It's possible.
yeah, that's definitely possible.
I'm sorry. I'm not much more help. I never actually formally studied much of what I've learned. I did technically study a bit, and she grimaces under the brief tutelage of Rolf, but it was never very extensive and mostly him just experimenting. It was not what he was best at, but it was certainly what he was most passionate about.
What kind of experiment?
Constructs. He liked taking things apart and putting them back together in new and interesting ways. He turned to my sister. That's how she died.
Wait, what? Like, turned her undead?
Yes. He... I don't know if he simply got bored of her or if she interfered with something, if she asked for something too many times. Gods only know at this point, but he turned her into some undead thing and left her in their house. And when I found her, Gadrian came and cut off her head in front of me.
I'm sorry.
She kind of laughs, pulling on the pearl ring again, and goes, it's fascinating, really, because the way he talked to me in that moment, it was like he was making dinner plans. Just talking about the weather. It's fine. she was never really that good of a person anyways. You'd do far better without her. I genuinely think that they would have been perfectly fine having me keep with them without any thought of how I might feel or react to her death. He didn't even expect it when I attacked him.
Yeah. You just laughed at me. You killed my brother. Probably would have killed me too. But I was a little too quick and he was a little too big to fit through the hole in the wall.
Small miracles, as it were.
Do you ever think about what you'll do afterwards?
Not in a very long time. For years now, I've been promising my mother that once I've taken care of them, it would be over, and I would come home and just find a normal job and help her keep the house. But now
You can't go back to normal. I mean, what is that anyways?
I was never very good at normal to begin. The only reason I ever got a job was because of Annika, and after her death,
Hey, at least you had a job. I mean, God, I don't even know how to be in society anymore. At least in a city. And I mean, quite honestly, if I hadn't met you guys that day, I don't know where I'd be. I mean, well, certainly could have stayed at the university for much longer. It's kind of nice to get out of the city again. Away from all the people.
Can I have both of you roll me? Actually, what's your passive perceptions?
oh god,
Crap.
somebody's spying on us.
11?
11.
12.
It's
Okay.
totally not me.
No, not that you notice, but at this point, one of the guards comes up and says, do you ladies need a hand? And you realize that while you're having this conversation, you've been doing a horrible job setting up your tents. You've been so focused on the conversation that it's lopsided. It's very unstable.
Yeah, no, that was pretty much how I imagined it was going to be, regardless of this conversation. Amelia's not very good at this. Oh god, she just turns bright red and goes, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not very this."
Oh, it's truly no trouble. Here, just give me a moment. I'll have this done in a jiff.
Oh, thank you.
And he's very young. He's probably 17, maybe 18. Unkept brown hair. The very beginning of a up beard, like one of those people trying to grow one and just can't quite do it yet.
He's got the little bits of peach fuzz coming in.
And but he does expertly start putting the tent together right then and there, right in the middle of what you guys were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes, "Oh, don't mind me. I'm just doing my thing."
Yes, thank you.
Here, should I hold this piece? Trying to help.
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. So it takes about 10 minutes. He gets your tent set up and then says, I believe dinner will be in about, 20 minutes or so.
Yes, thank you. It's very kind.
Thanks.
He puts a fist to his chest, bows slightly, and marches away.
Just puts a hand on her forehead like this is going so well. Finally she shakes her head and looks over at Ross and goes, I suppose we can continue bonding over our shared miseries later.
Always not going anywhere. At least not anytime soon.
Amelia smiles at her and says, thank you.
Maybe I should help, see if they need help cooking. I mean, since Mori isn't here, it's, after all, the least you'd expect.
We can certainly try.
Maybe they'll actually let us help.
Maybe.
All right. Oh, sorry. Did you have anything?
No, that was it.
Okay. The rest of the evening passes fairly pleasantly. The night air gets chill, but with your cloaks, it's not a problem. And everyone sits around the campfire making having dinner, which is like a travel stew. It's not the best food in the world, but it's suitable for the road, certainly. And several of the soldiers at one point petitioned Shala for to play her violin to pass the time, because how often do they get to travel with a bard? Now, it is to be fair, they do not know who Shala is. She's been very quiet about the fact that she is a Valentine, obviously. But I mean, she's very well dressed, very well kept, and carries a violin. Not hard to put two and two together. However, Shala politely declines, and she says that she is busy working on something, and it's not ready yet. No songs for you.
Not even older songs? Nothing?
She politely declines and continues writing in some bounded scroll-like paper.
Yeah, because Rhea doesn't have a very obvious hand flute strapped to her backpack or anything.
Yeah, that's what Ross is going to say. What about Rhea? What about you? I like to always mess around on the flute. We're playing us a nice lullaby before we go off to bed. Soothing. Something.
Sure. And she'll take out her pan flute and watch this be the moment where I roll horribly.
You get a Van Castrican it up?
Absolutely.
Oh, not bad at all.
Yeah.
Thank God for my bonus.
What kind of song are you playing?
I was asked for a lullaby.
Understood. So Rhea starts playing a very soft, gentle tune. Probably something that your mother used to play to you when you were a child, having trouble sleeping. It's a beautiful tale. It's gentle, very ambient, but also uplifting. And does it extremely well. Everyone listens quietly and without a word, without a peep. The only noise is, of course, the crackling of the fire and the running of the brook next to you. And Rhea, you'll find that even by the end of the song, Shala has completely put the pad down and is just staring at you with like starry eyes, lost in thought.
Got it.
Then the song ends, and everyone starts drifting off to sleep, except for the people keeping first watch.
So I have a couple of questions. Are we sharing tents?
Yes. So the tents are designed for 2 people. So there's 3 for the guards, 1 for Van Castrican. He gets his own tent. And then I assume, I'm not positive, but I assume it'd be Amelia and Aras, and obviously it'd be Shala and Aras and Amelia and Rhea.
Definitely. Yeah.
Obviously.
Obviously.
I was about to say, I definitely want to share with Amelia.
And where is Jolistina staying?
In a
In
cage.
the cart.
Yeah, in a cage.
So Ross will be right there with Kitty on the cart.
Is Kitty still in the cart?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Jolistina was given food at some point, and she threw it out the window onto the floor. And otherwise she seems to be either asleep or not making any noise.
And I'll also have Portly sleep right at the door to it.
Okay. Portly does like 3 turns, curls into a little ball, and falls asleep. Quickly, within about 10 to 15 minutes, Portly is completely stretched out with legs kicking in some kind of run dream.
Tongue flopped out.
Yeah. Otherwise, anyone, roll me a D100, please.
Who wants the responsibility?
Oh God! Hang on.
All yours.
How do you roll a D100?
Oh, that might be hard. Just roll 2 D10s. And whichever one's the leftmost is the 10s. The other one is the 1s.
Wait, no, that's 12. Okay, hang on. Oh, never mind. 17.
Hang on. I gotta see what both of them were.
I think maybe.
Well, no, that's Rhea's performance. So roll them one at a time for me, please. Roll a D10, then roll a second one. Or, okay, I'll say 86. All right, 86. Oh, okay. The night passes by uneventfully. You guys wake up to the sound of birds singing, a slight chill in the air, but your sleeping bags were more than warm enough. And as the sun rises, crests over the mountains to the east, you see Van Castrican getting the other soldiers up and beginning passing out breakfast. You guys aren't taking the time to cook a breakfast. It's mostly like hard jerky and biscuits.
Makes sense.
And you guys make your packs, unpack your tents, and get back on your mounts. And Amelia,
Mm-hmm.
I need you to make me another animal handling check, please.
Oh, boy.
You can do it. I believe in you.
You can do it.
Well, why doesn't Rhea have to make one?
It's a summoned magical mount
Yeah, and
that is faithful to her to the end.
oh God. Okay. Oh, okay.
Hey.
Yeah,
This is not
okay.
bad.
Yeah, no, Lib seems to like you well enough. It doesn't really give you any trouble.
Now Ross needs to roll one for the cart.
No, if the cart didn't kick me off all through the night, I think I can stay on it all through the day.
All right.
That's what it wants you to think.
So I'm gonna again pull out narratively. Over the next 2 days, you guys begin traveling through the mountains. The temperature starts to drop, but it is late enough in the spring that the snows have melted even on the peaks of the mountains. The Bloodsworn Vale aren't anywhere near the tallest mountains in the world, so it's certainly not trying to climb Mount Everest. But by the end of the second day, you were all wearing your cloaks pretty consistently. And you begin to make your way up through beautiful mountain ranges, grassy valleys, and forested tops. It's quite stunning. Over the next 2 days, as you make your way to the keep, is there anything that you guys would do before I describe a bit more?
No.
All right. So,
I mean,
Mhm.
actually, that's not true. Boras would go up to Rhea.
Oh, no.
Tell me about your sister's horrible deaths like the rest of us. Be one of us.
Your siblings aren't dead? I'll do it myself.
Damn.
I mean, you've
Yeah,
threatened to
good,
kill my
not evil.
girlfriend, so...
No, she's actually gonna ask if you remember the first night when we came to when you came, or we met in Corvosa at the banquet.
I do.
You remember I told you Corvosa would take a fresh new person and chew them up and spit them out.
That was quite hard to forget, yes.
Well, I hope it didn't treat you quite so bad. You feel okay going back to see your family? I mean, it's been a rough month or so, you know.
Yes. Well, the city itself was... while it was being ravaged by a plague, of course, was... I suppose nice would be a difficult term to use. But yes, I do look forward to seeing my family again.
That's good. Have you been gone for a long time? I mean, had you been in Corvosa long before you got there? Did you go straight to Corvosa from your order?
Yes. Just the few days from the stronghold to Corvosa, and then I had only been there about a day before the banquet.
Were you nervous about seeing him again?
No? Should I be?
I don't know. I mean, some people are sometimes when they haven't been home in a while. Aren't
No,
they?
I suppose I don't know either.
Okay.
I'm mostly excited.
Yay. Well, I hope we should be there soon. Yeah.
Well, on the topic of families, what about yours? Are you nervous about leaving them back in Corvosa? Is that where you're from? I'm sorry, I don't actually know.
A while back. Seems like a lifetime ago. Yes. I'm not nervous to leave them behind. I mean, honestly, I feel like Maury and Amelia are more my family.
I see. Well, that's good then.
Yeah. I think so.
You all seem to get on well enough.
We do. When we're not trying to help Cressida and take care of stuff for the city guard, running from one fire to the next. What are you looking forward to most about going back home?
She she gets a big smile on her face. She says, I I don't know, that's a difficult question. There's just so much.
What are you going to tell them about Shala?
What do you mean?
I mean, I'm pretty sure you're not going to go up and say, hey, this is my girlfriend. By the way, she comes from a family of assassins.
Well, of course not. That's her tale to tell.
Yeah. But, you're just gonna say, hey, I've been gone a while. By the way, here's all the people I've been spending time with and my current girlfriend. I mean, if you are, that's fine. I was just curious. I mean, I don't want to say the wrong thing to the wrong person and then be on the wrong story and, you know.
What do you mean by that?
I have a habit of sticking my foot in my mouth. So I always try to figure out what, if there's stuff I shouldn't say, what that stuff is that I shouldn't say.
I see. Well, I don't know. I suppose I'll just say whatever comes naturally. I haven't really planned out anything.
Okay. Cool. We should be there soon, right?
Yes, it's not too much further now.
I'll try to just follow your lead.
All right.
As far as like behavior and stuff, I mean, not like your actual lead into the. You know what I mean.
She
I'm
just
gonna go check on Jolistina now.
okay. Bye.
I'm gonna assume this is one of the few times that Shala was not standing right next to her.
No.
As Shala's sitting right next to her on Portly.
Yeah, Shala's just like, I'm right here. No, yeah, obviously you can find time when Shala was not around.
I mean, she probably would say that too. Just let's get our story straight.
I mean, you're welcome to roleplay that if
Ria's
you'd
just
like.
looking back at Shala like, what the fuck is going?
I will say that she wasn't there for that conversation, but that is most certainly a conversation you can have with her if you would like. I do like that though. Hi, Mom, Dad, this is my girlfriend. Careful, she can stab.
Does it really well.
I mean, I think that's, Ross and Shala. I mean, Rhea haven't had much conversations except for, like, yeah, the city's
true.
gonna chew you up and spit you out. I'm so sorry. You
And
drew
when
the short
she's
end of the stick.
getting yelled at for sharing her opinions, but just friendly conversations.
Wait, I didn't yell at anybody this time. Did I?
This time, but all of the other times.
Ross is trying to be different. You can't hold her past against her. Gosh.
So I will note, over the next 2 days, Jolistina is incredibly quiet. Does not say a word. Does not accept food. Throws it out the window. And certainly, after the first day, she stopped trying to pull against her chains. I think, and of course, this is only conjecture that the players or the characters may have. Maybe having a giant mechanical fox sitting right in front of her has deterred any sort of bad behavior.
One can only hope.
But she's been incredibly quiet in there. And with the exception of putting food through the door or through the little holes in the carriage, her door has not been opened, and she has not seen much in the way of sunlight or sky for the past 3 days.
I mean, we will let her go to the bathroom.
No, that's not necessary.
Okay.
That wagon is designed for a prisoner to stay in there.
Cool. Good to know.
Um,
Probably won't be sleeping near that side of the wagon.
Van Casterkin spends the majority of his time running a tight ship, one might say. It's clear that he is grown comfortable with command, at least with small units, especially after his time patrolling the streets during the plague. He does check on all of you to make sure you're all okay. Amelia, he doesn't have any other conversations with you. He seems to keep his distance, but anytime, anytime if you catch his eyes or anything like that, he will smile pleasantly. That's
Gotcha.
Yeah. And the days pass on. It gets slightly colder, and it happens almost suddenly. You're going through a path, a well-traveled but not paved path through the mountains, curving around the peaks. And Rhea, you would know this is coming, and you might prepare people for it. But you know that you're getting to a point where when you come around this bend, you're going to see the castle, and it's quite a view. And so, would Rhea be like, I mean, maybe not like get ready, guys, get ready, it's coming.
Get your cameras out.
Yeah,
This is the best part.
But I mean, she would probably give you fair notice, and as you round the bend, you see before you a very splendid sight. It is a magnificent stone castle built into the mountainside. with a bridge leading to the main gates and a tower of pure white marble rising up towards the sky with a holy symbol in the center of it. No dragons. That's a kite. Someone's flying a kite.
You sure?
Yep, positive. GM, I know these things.
Aw.
And you quickly make your way around towards the bridge, and as you approach the bridge, you see two figures standing in white robes in front of the bridge. One, tall, skinny male, short brown hair, cropped close, but on top a little bit spiky, perhaps, unkept, certainly. And next to him, almost as tall as him, a broad-shouldered, very bright red-headed woman in her middle-aged years. Rhea, your parents are standing out there waiting for you.
Oh, hell yes. Portly, go.
With like a
Onward, dude.
sudden gallop, Shallow like clasps your waist, not expecting the sudden burst of speed. And for the rest of you, you see these two figures standing almost regally, very very straight backed. You can see that each of them has the woman has a what is your mother famous for using? Just a sword, or does she have a unique type of weapon, or?
I think just like a long sword or something like that.
They probably both would have long swords attached to their side, but the second they see the giant corgi rushing towards them and recognize Rhea on top of it, they basically lose composure and break into a run. And as give me a second here. As two of the highest ranking people in the castle, what would they be? Would they be chapter masters or paragons of peace?
Yeah, Paragon.
As two paragons of peace just break into a run. As you get close to them, Rhea, do you stop? I assume you don't trample them.
Oh yeah, it'll probably be like a very like a sudden stop, and
Mhm.
she'll just like for a quick moment realize that Shala's still there. Just say, "Oh, sorry," and she'll get down and try and very carefully help Shala off of Portland.
You help Shala off of Portly, and the second Shala hits the ground, you are wrapped up in the arms of your mother, who goes, Rhea! And like picks you up off the ground, spins you around, and puts you down and goes, oh, my girl, how are you?
Well, wonderful now.
And then you hear from behind her, she'll be a lot better if you stop crushing the air out of her. And your father comes up to you and puts a hand on your shoulder. It's good to see you.
And she'll just she'll hug him.
And he'll hug you back warmly. And your mother will like start straightening her robes, and she'll go, well, it's been quieter with you gone. Glad to see you back. I hope that you've been behaving yourself. And your dad like kind of winks at you and goes, she's been a mess without you here.
Yes, things have been well, hopefully we'll be getting better in Corvosa.
Yes, we heard, your dad says. I also hope that you are well.
I am.
Reports say that the city is recovering, that the plague is gone.
Sorry, I was reading Discord. Yes. Yes, and she'll sort of look back where the rest of the group is probably very far behind them still.
Yeah, yeah, they're catching up.
Um, uh, one of the members of the group that I'm in, Aras, actually managed to find a cure for it.
Really? And your mom looks back over. Well, that's fantastic. Well, come quickly. Oh, I'm so sorry, dear. I didn't see you there. And who might you be? And Shala kind of looks down at the ground and goes, my name is Shala. Friend of Ria's." A friend? And your father like looks down at you. By the way, still embracing you. Haven't stopped the hug yet.
Right, I figured. Ria, kind of looks over at Shala with like a small frown on her face at the word friend.
Seeing that, Shala, because I mean, she's not really sure what's going on. And she goes, more than friend, actually. Special. Very special to me. She like looking at Ria now, like unsure what she should be saying, but really understanding she's not saying the right thing.
This poor child.
She's not good in social situations.
Um, yes. Uh, perhaps we can go more into that later.
Then your dad goes, right. Well, of course. Can't have you standing out here in the cold. We'll bring your friends in. And your mom's just like looking at Shala, like sizing her up. And your dad goes, dear, we should bring them inside, yes? Oh, right. Yes. Your special guest, Jolestina was her name?
Yes.
She is here?
Yeah, 10 minutes back. I'm just gonna have to wait for the rest of the group to catch up.
Ria just kind of points at the cart that's making its way over here.
And your dad will nod and say, well, I'll see to her once we're inside. Oh, I have missed you, sweetheart. And he'll give you like one last squeeze and then let go. So have your siblings, actually. And they will turn around and start going across the bridge. The rest of you are catching up right around this time, just in time to see them start walking across the bridge. And the woman turns around and waves an arm and says, hello, hello, everyone. Come inside. Come inside. We'll greet everyone there. And then turns around to follow. And you all hear as this loud conversation echoing off the hills. As I said, your mother was an absolute mess, kept breaking dishes accidentally, dropping them any time the mention of her precious daughter being gone. And then you hear like your mother go, oh, is that so, Mr. I try to sharpen swords every single day. You know how your father is whenever he gets near a whetstone.
Ria kind of just like she'll have this small fond smile on her face and will just shake her head the whole time.
And you guys make your way across the bridge, a very sturdy built bridge, through the portcullis into a courtyard that is very fresh, very clean. There's hay stacked on the sides. There's people milling about, some in robes, some you can see in the distance training with wooden swords, in armor, and others tending to livestock or small little gardens that are kept within the castle walls. And everyone is brought in through the gate. The gate is closed behind you. And you make a little circle in the courtyard. And as you make a little circle in the courtyard, another person, looking slightly older than Rhea, clothed in not white robes, but much more comfortable and functional type of trousers and shirt. A man who shares a lot of resemblances to your father, Rhea. Brown hair, longer though, probably about shoulder length. Sebastian from the top of the stairs goes, "Rhea, you're home."
Sebastian. And she'll run off towards him as well.
And he'll run down the stairs and another embrace. And he goes, "I hope that city wasn't too hard on you."
Well, you would know if you ever went out.
No, my place is here. Too much to do, too much to see, too many people that need my help. I'm more than happy to let you two sisters take care of that little adventure for me. Speaking of which, you caught her. She's here. Just arrived 2 days ago.
Did she?
She did. All the way from the other continent. Oh, the story she's been telling. Mostly lies, I'm sure. Okay, exaggerations. But father sent her a message and something about not wanting to miss the return of her little sister.
Where is Claire?
Oh, where she always is. And you hear like faint sounds coming from the main hall. Chuck, 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 Chuck.
Incredible.
And while they're doing that, back with the other group, the two that you saw on the bridge walk up to you, and the woman says, "Hello, my name is Cadmus. Cadence? How do I say that? Cadence. Okay, sorry. I think I knew that like a long time ago, but I don't see Cadence very often. My name is Cadence, and this is my husband, Julian. We are both members of the Paladins of the Rose, and we welcome you to our home. While you are here, you are like family to us. I've heard that some of you were traveling with our daughter, and that one of you was responsible for curing the plague in Corvosa. Is that true?"
Amelia looks over at Aras.
I mean, it was a group effort, really. You know.
Oh, that's fantastic.
We couldn't have done it without Rhea's help.
And the Julian goes, "Well, of course not. I mean, well, she comes from good stock after all. I hope she hasn't been too much trouble."
No, she's been really helpful.
Well, good, good. And you, who might all of you be?
I'm Ross Corvosa.
Amelia Holton.
Pleasure. Absolute pleasure. And Van Casterkin will introduce himself and the rest of the guards. And then Julian will start walking towards the cage and go, "And this, I assume, is our guest?"
Yeah, she tends to be loud.
"What is her name?"
Celestina.
"I see." And he will calmly walk to the wagon and hold a hand out to one of the guards. "May I have the key, please?" And the guard kind of looks at Van Casterkin. Van Casterkin looks back and carefully nods, and he would say, "Be careful, sir. She is dangerous." And Julian would look at Van Casterkin and nod. "I can handle myself, but thank you for the concern." And he will calmly walk up and open up the door. And for any of those who can see, when the door is open and sunlight is cast down upon the wagon, You see, of course, a metallic fox sitting in the same place, unmoving. And Julistina, furthest back in the cage, or in the carriage, she looks a mess. Her hair is completely disheveled and messy. Her clothes are ripped and torn. Her face is dirty. She looks gaunt from not having eaten for at least 3 days. She looks an absolute just bundle of mess. And she looks up through her hair at Julian and spits directly into his face. Like, gets some distance. And he will calmly wipe it off and say, "Hello, my name is Julian of the Lilac Order. And who might you be?" And she doesn't respond. "I'm here to help you." And with that, she starts laughing. And Julian will step back out of the wagon and come back over. And Rhea, you would hear this too, as you and Sebastian are starting to come up back to the group. And he would say to Cadence, "I think perhaps I should get started right away. She is not doing well." And Cadence goes, "Really? Your daughter just arrived." And Julian will look to Rhea and go, "I'm sorry, sweetheart, but, well, you know me."
Of course, it's fine. That's what we came here for, after all.
He will nod, and he will call over 2 people to help, and they basically unshackle Julistina and begin carrying her down to one of the cells in the castle. And Cadence goes, "Well, that's business that need not bother us here now. You must all be famished. Please, come, we have food ready." And as you all begin to walk, Sebastian will make his way up to the group and say, "Hello, Sebastian. I am the older brother to this one here and the others. I hope your journey was safe."
To be relatively uneventful.
"Excellent, good. We've had reports of goblins in the area, but, well, Rhea here can handle a few goblins," and he'll kind of like punch her in the arm.
More than you could.
"Well, like I said, we all have our strengths."
Foghorn goes off in the distance.
Wah, wah, wah.
And you all make your way towards the main hall, where chanting gets louder and louder. And as you break into the hall, you see a group of about 10 people or so surrounding one of the long bench-like tables. And this hall is very much a hall. There is a table at the head, and then 2 long tables that go down either end. And at one of the tables, you see about 10 people gathered around 2 people. One of them is a rather stout man, probably, Rhea, you've seen him around. He's not a paladin. He's one of the, he's actually one of the stonemasons that's taken up residence here that keeps up the walls and repairs things. He's actually a dwarf. Thick black hair, thicker black beard. And on the other side of the table, you see Clarice, your sister. For those of you, the rest of you, she looks a lot like Rhea. There's definitely differences there. It's obvious that she's a little older. How much older is Clarice? Or Clarice?
Claire is like, I can do math, like 8 years older.
Right. So definitely. Oh yeah, actually, I have that here. 27. Yeah. So she's definitely older than Rhea, but there's definitely a family resemblance. At least you would be able to tell that if her face wasn't currently buried in a mug, as she and the dwarf just are downing a mug, and you see several other mugs empty beside them, and the group starts like they're chanting chug chug, and as like your mother and the rest walk in, there's chug chug And then, like, there's a pause, and the dwarf puts his cup down and kind of stands up, and Claire just finishes her cup and slams it down and goes, "Ha! Rhea!" And bolts over the table in full plate mail. You see that she is wearing splendid looking plate mail, polished and shined, white robes covering it, a longsword buckled to her side, and on her back there all of you can see a beautiful shield. It is a very expertly crafted shield, even from what you can tell, made of white gold and gold trim, with an amazing picture of a rose on the back of it. She jumps onto the table, over the table, beyond the table, and crushes Rhea in a hug.
Oh, Claire.
Welcome back. They told me you were coming.
Yes, it's good to see you too. Can't breathe.
And she'll hold you at arm's length and look at you. Oh, you're positively paper thin. Have you been eating?
Yes?
And she'll look at you and then look at the rest. You must be Claire's... sorry, so many names. You must be Rhea's friends. I'm Claire, the cute one. And she'll go up to Amelia. You are?
Amelia.
And she'll, like, crush you in a hug. Amelia!
Okay.
Pleasure to meet you. Any friend of my sister's is a friend of mine. And you? And she goes up to Ross. Ross, and, like, picks you up in a hug.
Oh my god.
And
Thanks,
she
you
does this...
popped my back. I needed that.
She does this, like, down the line Shala Van Castrican every single guard. And then she turns around and your mother goes, "Drinking so early, are we, Claire?" "What? I've been on the road for days. It was just a little refreshment." And right at that moment, the dwarf collapses over. Huh. Well, he does know I'm a paladin. And then she kind of winks at Rhea.
What does that mean?
It must have been quite a few refreshments.
Well, consider me very much refreshed.
Rhea will just roll her eyes.
How long are you staying?
And she'll kind of open her mouth and then close it and kind of look at the rest of the group. I don't know, actually.
I think we should be getting back soon. City guard needs to, at least.
Well, and your mother says, certainly you'll stay at least for a few days. Please, you won't deny us the chance to visit with our own daughter, would you?
Amelia would speak and go, "I agree. We should stay at least a few days. Give you time to catch up."
Excellent. Well, it's settled. Rhea, your old room is ready. The rest of you, there is food on the tables, at least there will be any moment, and there are rooms prepared for all of you as well. We are nothing if not full of hospitality here at the Lilac Order.
Mother.
Yes.
Where are Daniel and Diana?
Where they always are. Up in the tower, in the quietest section. I'm sure they haven't even heard the noise yet.
Oh, well, if you all don't mind, I think I'd like to go see them. Any of you are welcome to come if you like, of course.
Like Shala had this like roller coaster look on her face of like, oh god, no, you're not leaving me, and then like, oh thank God.
That brief look of terror.
Yeah.
Also why I added that.
Yeah.
Ross is like, well, I'm a bit thirsty.
Claire will put an arm around Ross's shoulder. Well, you have come to the right place. I like your friends.
Please don't get her started again.
And Claire, obviously probably not the intended target of those words, says, I would never. Like guiding a Ross to the table.
Oh God.
And with that, the rest of the guards start taking their seats at the table as food is brought out to you, and it's incredibly delicious food, especially after days on the road. Roast duck, mashed potatoes, everything that you would find at a full proper feast.
Real quick, Squee, where did they take Julistina?
Down into the
this point.
the under section of the castle.
Gotcha.
And if you ask anyone, they'd be more than happy to direct you.
Yeah, after kind of fidgeting with her food and not eating all that much, she would ask where it was.
Sebastian would nod, and we'll get with you in a moment. But you and Shala have gone off to the tower, and Sebastian would nod and go, "Oh, I can take you, certainly. Yes, you must be very worried about the prisoner."
Do you want me to go with you?
If you'd like, but it's not necessary. You can go ahead and enjoy the feast. I'm not all that hungry anyway.
Okay.
You say as another mug is pushed into your hands. Roll me a Constitution saving throw.
Woohoo! I actually have.
You have dwarven advantage on this. Actually, you would have advantage on this roll, yeah. Because technically this counts as a poison.
And I mean, it is a saving throw, so I mean, being within 10 feet of any of the other paladins would technically give you that +4.
I'm going to say
or
no.
however many.
I'm going to say no.
Well, on her own, she did.
Sure, you got a 16. Yeah, you're holding up pretty well, actually. That this is one of the aspects of dwarven physiology you haven't tested all too much, but it's coming in strong now. You know that in your original half elf body, you would have been tanked by now.
Oh yeah, but this stockier dwarven constitution. It's like water, right?
Right.
I mean, you saw how the other dwarf went down, so.
So Sebastian would get up and start leading Amelia down to the undersection of the castle. Rhea, you and Shala make your way through familiar halls. And you've only been gone a few months, but still so much has happened in that time that it feels like it's been years. And you're already getting waves of nostalgia of running down these halls ever since you were a little girl. And you make your way into the tower, which is much more of it's a place of worship and of classes. It's a place of learning and a place of quiet reflection. It's also where they hold very important ceremonies. When you were first risen to the rank of paladin, when you became a rose paladin, that coronation took place at the top of the tower. You make your way to a familiar room and knock quietly on the door, and you hear two voices at the same time say, "Who is it?"
Rhea will just slowly open the door and pop her head in.
Rhea. Oh, Rhea. Oh, Oh, is that today? Oh, it's today. You were coming today. And like the door bursts open as a young girl, probably about the age of 12, 13 now, almost. 12 and a half, as she would probably say. Um, bursts through the door and wraps you in a hug. And you see she's wearing a uncharacteristically long, thick dress. It's got long sleeves on it, and the dress goes down to the ankles. And as she hugs you, you hear clanking. Not like heavy clanking, but like light clanking. And she goes, "Welcome back." And further back in the room, you see their twin, Daniel, sitting in the back of the room, starting to stand up, putting a book down, going, "Rhea, I'm so sorry. We thought that was tomorrow."
Well, matter now. Here I am.
And he will come. "Are you okay? You weren't stabbed or hurt or anything, were you?"
No, I'm fine.
"I've heard horrible things about Corvosa."
Yes, well, the city is recuperating.
"Right. Like." And then you see from like underneath you, Diana like pulls back and goes, never mind him, Rhea, look." And she reaches over and grabs the bottom hem of her dress and pulls it up, and what you see is like a double layered skirt. And when she pulls it up, you see lined on the inside with leather are just all kinds of tools, tinkering tools, small pouches for components, ratchets and spanners and everything of that nature. She goes, "I just made it a few weeks ago."
You never cease to amaze, Diana.
She nods. She goes, "Now I can always work on something, even when Mom makes me do boring classes."
Just make sure you do get your studies done.
She like rolls her eyes and drops her skirt. "Yes, Mother." Besides, anything that we need to learn, Daniel learns and studies with me later. Daniel like rolls his eyes. And Daniel goes, "So, really two important questions. First, what'd you bring us?" And then Diana goes, right, Rhea, what'd you bring us?"
Rhea will take off her backpack, and she will set it down on the floor, and she will rummage through it and kind of look a bit confused. Oh, I thought I had it somewhere in here.
And like their faces drop. You forgot our presents? But you promised."
Oh, well, maybe. And she'll bring out Diana's gift first. Will this do?
And she looks at it. Do you want to describe it?
Yeah, it's a small wooden box, just from how it looks on the outside, with two little the hinges on the side. And Rhea will open it up, and the inside is a little like, just a regular music box. Inside is the little figurine that will start
Spinning
twirling
around,
around.
playing
Yeah.
a small song. And her eyes light up and she goes, I've heard of these, but oh, Rhea, oh, thank you. And she'll like grab it and just like start looking at it with like wide eyes, turning it upside down, pulling like, twisting the crank to keep it going. And then Daniel goes, So it plays songs. That's nice.
Oh, well, I suppose you'd much rather have this, Daniel. And she'll reach in and pull out the book and walk it over towards him and give it to him.
He'll take it from you and look at it, and like his eyes widen. Book of Spells. Book of Spells. Handwritten. Oh, Rhea. Real spells? And he starts like thumbing through the pages. These real spells?
Yes.
And he just like throws you the biggest hug. Is there, and then he pulls back and goes, is there, oh my gosh, is there what was the one I was thinking? A color spray? And you hear Diana like still looking at the music box. How about Fireball?
No, I don't think anything along those lines. These are more uh minor spells and cantrips, just something to get you started.
Thank you. Rhea. And like
Yes.
Diana will kind of lean in close. Who's the quiet woman standing there?
Oh,
She's been
I
watching us this whole time.
Shala, you can come in.
Like as Shala comes in, like from around Rhea appear two 12-year-old faces, eyes narrowing. Hello. I'm Shala. Rhea's special friend?
Oof.
Eyes narrow even more. Pleasure to meet you. And then, literally, the two 12-year-old twins pull back simultaneously and start whispering to each other. Roll me a perception check.
Perception.
All right, that's good enough. The whispers aren't the quietest. You hear basically it's like, she said special friend. You don't think like that girl that Sebastian's always talking to? No, Rhea wouldn't do that. I don't know. She looks shifty to me. You should keep an eye on her. Shala! It's a pleasure to meet you. Like their faces just turn bright smiles.
Ria will just sort of give them a look and say, "Be nice, you two."
What? Nothing but sugar and sunshine, Diana says, and Daniel goes, we're always nice. Claire's the prankster.
Perhaps, but you're not the quiet.
She's back, you know, Claire. Back from Chiliax.
Yes, I saw her.
She brought me... Well, she didn't bring me a spell book, he says, grinning, looking back at the spell book.
What did she bring you?
What? What? Oh, some, skinned animal pelt thing? I don't remember. It's over there somewhere. And like he goes back to looking at the book. Diana's still staring at Shala with like this bright pasted on smile.
Ria just kind of looks back and forth between the two for a moment. Very awkward silence ensues.
Yeah. Then suddenly, so what do you do? Shala's like, me? Yeah. Oh, I'm a bard. A bard. Oh. And like Diana looks at Rhea. I hear they don't make a lot of money.
Diana, be nice.
What? I'm being nice. I'm just saying. Well, it's just what I heard. Shala's like face reddens.
Right. Well, Shala does very well for herself.
Shala's face reddens even more. Maybe I should wait outside. You and your brother and sister probably have a lot of catching up to do.
No, you can stay if you like. It's no problem.
No, it's fine. And she like squeezes your hand and then rushes out of the door.
Oh, okay. Bye.
Diana looks back at Rhea. Where'd you meet her?
Corvosa.
And like her eyes widen, and then she like whispers something to Daniel, and he goes, "No, she would. Right? No, she wouldn't."
What are you two talking about now?
No, just we. Diana like sighs. We heard that there was a plague going on in Corvosa. I'm just worried. What if she has it?
She doesn't. Everyone is cured of it now.
But I mean, you sure?
Yes, Diana.
Okay. All right. Well, Rhea, it's so good to have you back.
Yes, well, it's nice to be back.
Daniel again lost in the book. And Diana goes, "Well, he'll be no use to you, at least for a couple of hours. But Mom and Dad are planning some sort of special dinner tonight to celebrate your return. So I suppose we'll see you then."
I look forward to it.
And she nods and she looks at the music box again. "Oh, thank you, Rhea. This is amazing."
No problem at all.
And she goes to the shelf and puts like the music box on the table and like puts it on the table and then kind of crosses her arms and puts her chin on her arms as she studies it. And then Daniel's just in the corner already, just deep in the book.
Right. She'll sort of stand there for a moment and just look between the two of them and smile a bit. I guess leave the tower after Shala.
Sorry about that. So yeah, you see Shala about like 20 feet down the hall, and her face is just very red. And she sees you and she goes, "Oh, Rhea, this isn't going very well."
What do you mean? You are my special friend?
"I'm sorry. I didn't know what I was supposed to say. I'm not good at this."
Just say whatever comes naturally. They're not going to judge you. Not
She
really. Just ignore the twins. They're like that.
she shakes her head and like embraces you and like says in your ear, "Oh, Rhea, none of this is natural for me." And she'll pull you back. "I am in many ways the opposite of all of this, but I cannot tell you. I cannot tell you how much joy I feel at seeing your family. Oh, Rhea, they're wonderful."
Well, I'm glad you think so.
I do. I really do. I will keep no secrets from them. Well, I mean, it might be best to keep who my family is secret only because I would hate for them to get involved in, well, you know.
Whatever you wish to tell them, I'll be behind you with it.
Right. Right. Well then, shall we? And she'll put like her arm in yours.
We shall.
And as you begin walking down the hall, she'll say in a much more cheerful voice, Rhea, I take it as a professional pride that I can know what people's intentions are. Your brother and sister over there are quite sure. I'm quite positive they're going to try and do something to me. And like she smiles as she says it.
Like what?
Oh, I don't know. Itchy powder in the beds. Snap fireworks under the feet. That's what I would do.
Oh, and she'll kind of quickly look back towards the tower. No, I will make sure that they do not.
She laughs. Nonsense. They don't trust me. I bet they think that I'm stealing their sister away. That's what I would think. And if you, and she kind of like pokes you, protect me, that's not going to change.
I suppose.
Just wish I was better with people. I will do my best, and I'll do my best to win their trust too. Maybe tonight. Yes, maybe tonight they'll think differently.
And what happens tonight?
And as she starts like pulling you down the stairs, you know that thing I kept telling you is not ready yet?
Yes.
It's ready.
Well, I look forward to it then.
And she nods. And looking much better, starts leading you back down the stairs. On the other side of the castle, Amelia, you're following Sebastian down to the castle, and as you're traveling down, Sebastian will say, So, if you don't mind me asking, Amelia, how did you meet my sister?
Oh, through, I suppose you could say a mutual friend.
I see. Well, I'm glad that she found friends. It can be difficult out there.
Yes. Well, she is in very good company.
I'm glad to hear it. And I'm glad that you're here. It is good to meet new people. I don't leave the castle very often, so as you might imagine, guests here are somewhat rare. Well, except for, well, like the type of guest you brought in. They're more common than I could wish for.
You get many like Jolistina then?
Yes, from all over the land. We help as many as we can. That is our purpose here, after all. The Lilac Order, we are paladins, first and foremost, but our focuses tend to be more healing, not just the body, but the mind.
You'll certainly have your work cut out for you.
So, any other day, I suppose. And he'll smile broadly as he leads you down. And you see, as you go down into what would be the dungeons of the castle, that they're not like dungeons you're used to. They have clean beds and other utensils and things that you would find in normal rooms. They are certainly barred, very sturdy. In fact, thicker than you may have seen in other places. But there seems to be a certain level of comfort in the rooms as well. And
Mhm.
as you pass, you see several people, some sleeping, some sitting, some staring, none of them speaking to you. And as you approach the end, almost as you get there, the door opens and Julian steps out. He's no longer wearing the white robes and the sword that he had before. Now he's kind of partially taken that off, and now underneath you see leather trousers and a shirt. And he closes the door behind him and goes, "Ah, Sebastian, there's one among you," and he looks to you, "named Amelia. Do you know who that might be?"
That would be I.
"Oh. Do you mind if we talk for a bit?"
Yes, I would prefer that we did, actually.
"Good. Celestina's, well, she needs some time to herself. Perhaps a walk? I could give you a tour of the castle."
She glances past him at the door, a little concerned, and after a moment nods.
And before you walk away, he'll look to Sebastian. "Sebastian, if you could, have some of the helpers. Celestina, she needs to be cleaned up a bit. She's quite a mess." And Sebastian will nod. "I'll see to it." And then he'll smile at you, Amelia, and he'll say, "Don't worry. Father's the best." And then he'll take off. "So, Amelia, right this way." And he'll start leading you up out of the under part of the castle.
And she about faces and starts right back out.
Actually, it's like a different path. It's almost like an L shape. You take a different set of stairs.
Okay, I was gonna say just go
Yeah.
right back down the same corridor. Okay.
And
Okay, yeah.
you walk in silence for some time, and then he says, "So, this Jolestina, how do you know her?"
I know her from shared acquaintance. We worked together for a time, I suppose you could say.
"I see. So you're not actually sisters."
What?
She calls you her sister. I know sometimes that family is not exactly related by blood. Two of my own children, the twins, I don't know if you've met them yet, they're adopted. I was curious perhaps if she was a similar case.
Amelia clearly looks very uncomfortable with the thought of it and shakes her head and goes, "No, she is not my sister, not by blood or by choice."
You walk for a bit longer, and he goes, "She hurt you, didn't she?"
Amelia is very quiet and doesn't respond.
He'll keep walking for some time, and he'll say, "I do not mean to ask painful questions, but understand that you are in a safe place, safer than most places in the world, and anything that you say will stay between us. I am curious. If Celestina could be helped, could be taught a better way, would you want it?"
Almost immediately, she opens her mouth as though she has just the most solid conviction of an answer and then pauses and frowns to herself. And finally, she shakes her head and says, I don't know, to be honest.
Ha!
I
He like claps his hands together. It's almost like jolting you with the surprise.
scares the shit
Yeah.
out of her.
And
Jesus.
he goes, oh, excellent. This is what I love. People. Oh, we're so complex. Everything you've been through, everything she's done, and in the short time I've talked to her, trust me, I have heard a lot. All of it, and yet you still wonder. Oh, so marvelous. All of us were so complex, so full of emotion, so full of confusion, and yet at the end of it, at the core, at the very heart, and he like presses your chest, you still wonder. That's beautiful.
She's just staring at him, so confused. It's. If she is able to be helped, then yes, I suppose that would be a good thing. Part of me wonders if she would deserve it.
Yes. That must be an emotion that you feel. I cannot speak to whether she deserves it or not. I am not, well, only the gods can choose that. But I can tell you this, Amelia. You've had a hard life, I assume, from what I heard. And I'm sure that there's so much more that I don't know, nor do I need to. But am I correct in my guess that you had friends or family, someone who cared about you, who loved you?
She nods after a moment, kind of slowly.
Imagine for a second you went through everything you've gone through. Every horrible day, every horrible minute, and you had no one. No one in the world except this Roth character. And imagine you grew up knowing nothing but that. You may do horrible, terrible, unspeakable things. Even the best person might. I think, for the time being, Amelia, do you intend on staying, at least for a little while?
She nods and says, I believe we're planning to stay for at least a few days. Yes.
He'll nod. Honestly, I've done this my entire life, and I will be honest with you, I do not know if she is capable of changing. She has been through a lot, and she has faced it alone. For the time being, I think her seeing you would be bad. But if there is a chance for her, I suspect sooner or later she will need you. Not your judgment, not your scorn, not even your help. Sooner or later, she will need your forgiveness. If she ever makes it to that point. And he kind of like takes in a deep breath and looks around. If she doesn't, well, she'll stay here as comfortable as we can make her.
I see. I can't promise that's something I can give.
No. No, I suppose not. But the fact that you haven't dismissed it outright, the fact that you have the capacity to even consider it, makes you a wonderful person, Amelia. And don't you ever forget that. Oh my gosh, I was supposed to give you a tour. We've been walking around in circles. Shall I? And he leads up a stairs, up to the ramparts.
I'm so glad, because I was just imagining them walking super slow in the same track over and over.
Yeah, you've just been walking around the courtyard.
Amelia didn't even notice. Oh god. I guess she lightly jogs after him to keep up. Oh, Jesus.
Aras, what are you doing during all this?
Just having a beer
A beer.
or 5.
At some point, Claire will slap you on the back and will say, "So, keeping my sister out of trouble?"
No, she seems to be pretty good at that on her own.
I was kind of hoping you'd just say no. But I suppose that'll work.
I mean, do you... Right, you don't want her to get in trouble. Okay.
No.
She's good at that on her own.
A little bit of trouble would be good for her, I think. She's got a fiery spirit, but she's also very gentle, I guess is the word I would use. Not that I'd ever want that to change, but Rhea is passionate. And I think that one day she will be one of the greatest paladins, one of the greatest champions that Shellen's ever had. But in order to make it there, you gotta have a little bit of trouble. Do you know what I mean?
Well, she's in quite a fair bit of trouble in Rosa.
Well, good.
So,
Glad to hear it. As long as it's not too much trouble.
I mean, the brothel burned down before she got to town, so there's no real place to gamble, and I'm sure there's a bar there somewhere, but the
she
one
blinks.
I knew burned down, so...
She blinks at you. Oh, no. No. Rhea would never... That's not what I meant.
I'm just saying, Corvosa's not the same town it was before, because,
Wait.
all the...
Rhea didn't do anything like that, did she?
No, it was burned down before she got there.
Oh, okay. You're a very confusing person.
Sorry? I'll try to be more clear.
Right. Well, that'll probably get worse. And she puts another mug in front of you.
So, what is there to do for fun around here?
Oh, inside the castle? Not much. There's training, lots of wooden weapons and people to practice on if you like. There's tomes up in the towers. It's important, I suppose. But outside the walls? Oh, there's lots outside the walls.
What kind of tomes are in the towers?
She kind of looks a little bored. Paladin spells, stories of older paladins, the 10 disciplines of the Lilac Order, knowledge stuff. Important, to be sure. Still have half of it memorized by heart, but I'm glad those days are behind me, if you know what I mean. She elbows you.
What? I mean, you always can acquire new knowledge.
Oh no. You sound just like Daniel.
Daniel?
My little brother. He's only 12, loves reading books, Can't get enough of it. I don't think he even wants to be a paladin. His choice, of course. Just could never understand choosing another life. Seems so quiet.
It doesn't have to be. I mean, I'm not a paladin. You don't see me sitting around spending my whole day with my nose cut to like the right up there the whole day. Her nose.
I was gonna say. And she goes, well, good. So you're like me. You like to get out in the world and experience it. You can only read so much in a tome. You have to get out there. You have to feel the world. You have to... She like puts her fists in front of her. Grab it with both hands.
Yeah, exactly. To experience things, firsthand.
She nods. Okay. You're all right after all. She'll like slap you on the back. Still wearing a gauntlet, I might add.
Ow.
Though I would say that the way she moves in it, it's like a second skin to her. So with that, before we end the session, I have a little scene. Is there anything anyone else would want to do before that night?
No?
Just if I ever pass them again, I'd like to give the rest of her family the stuff that she brought.
Oh, absolutely. That would be important. I think that's important to actually not just mention, but to actually do. So what order would you like, just in the order you found them? So probably Claire, and then your mother, and then maybe Julian, and then Sebastian.
Sure. Yeah.
All right, so you find Claire at the table talking to Aras, clapping her on the back with the gauntlet. And then as you come down the stairs, she'll turn and she'll see you. Rhea, come, join us. Tell me all about Corvosa. How is it?
Well, doing better now, hopefully.
Why? Because you were there to make it better? And she like gives you like a good-natured like punch in the arm.
She will roll her eyes and look over towards Ross. I hope she's not giving you too much trouble.
Hey, I didn't tell her anything.
Tell me what? What didn't she tell me? What didn't she tell me, Rhea?
I don't know.
Were you at a brothel?
Rhea's face completely heats up. What? No, did you say that I was... What?
No, I said the brothel burned down before you came to town.
Claire just starts laughing. Your face! You should see your face. I've missed you, little sister.
You're incorrigible.
Oh, you always say the nicest things to me. Have a beer! And she'll like shove a mug in your hands.
No, thank you. But I do have something for you, actually.
Oh? Well,
And
she's quite pretty, but I don't think giving
Huh?
your friends over... She's like looking at Shala,
Wait.
who's just standing behind her.
No! Claire!
A joke. I'm sorry. And Shala just goes, Shala. Sorry. A joke. Uh-oh. Portly's barking from outside.
No.
He's hungry.
Yeah.
He's a giant dog.
He's used to
Probably.
eating all of Joey's food.
Giant dog with tiny yips. So you pull out of your pack.
Yeah, she'll reach into her bag again and pull out the compass.
Oh, Rhea. This looks expensive. And she kind of like hefts it. Well made. You know I tend to be rough on things.
Yes,
Oh.
well,
And she like gives you a hug and she goes, well, from now on I should only travel southwards. That way this will always point towards home, huh?
you are ridiculous. And she'll kind of give her a small smile.
And she'll laugh and she'll say, stop it with the compliments. You just got home.
Yes, well, I suppose I can spread them out over the next few days.
And she'll nod. Have you seen everyone else? Have you seen the twins? They were asking about you. Probably forgot you were even here.
Yes, we just came from there, actually.
Oh, excellent. Well, I'm going to be here for a few days, so hopefully you stay too. You and I, well, I have a feeling that we won't be here as often. We should take advantage of it while we can. Unlike some of us, and she says as Sebastian walks in the room, who never leave the castle. Sebastian, who kind of like stands up straight and says, some of us have something called responsibilities. And you, Ross, you can definitely tell, like, this is typical brother-sister banter.
I have no idea what that's like.
You have no idea what that is.
So Aras is, gonna. Is there any specific reason why you won't be spending much time here?
Oh, I just feel the itch. Shellen may not be one of the most popular gods, but he's certainly worth spreading. And the world needs people like us. Not to mention... And she takes from her back that brilliant shield I mentioned earlier. She goes, not to mention, I've been bestowed the honor of wielding the rose shield. And by that very nature, the more the world sees it, the better it is for everyone. And Sebastian sits at the table and goes, oh, come off it. You just need to travel. Sitting in this place would just drive you stir crazy. And Claire just kind of shrugs, well, there's that too. Nothing like running through the mountains, bashing a few goblins in the head to really get the boredom out.
I'm sure that's also part of why they send you. Less chaos within the castle.
She kind of looks at Rhea like mock surprise. Me? Chaos? Why, Rhea or Morphia, I am the very model of a champion of Shellen. Chaos is not even in my vocabulary. And then she can't even like hold her own laughter in.
Rhea just sighs.
Well, go on then. Did you get anything for Sebastian? Probably some sort of, oh, what's that thing called? That thing that counts beads? You use it for math and stuff? An albatross? And Sebastian just, like, shakes his head. That's a bird, sister. And she just, like, Claire just kind of shrugs. And Sebastian goes, really, Rhea, it's not necessary. You being here is more than enough.
Oh, well, I suppose you don't want your gift then?
Well, I didn't say that, did I? And he gives you like the biggest grin.
And Rhea will smile back and pull out what she brought for him.
All right. So a very, very nice quill, plucked from like the tail feathers of like a peacock. So it's very multicolored, and a giant tome that says "The Guide to Corvosa." Sebastian would take it, look it over, and go, "Huh. See, this is why I love books. You can travel all the way to Corvosa and back and never even have to leave the comfort of your room." And he just looks like bright-eyed and happy, and like with that, like Clara claps the table. Ha! As if. No dusty book is gonna give you the smells of the street or the sounds of the people. And Sebastian goes, "Exactly." And again winks at Rhea. And with that, Claire stands up. He goes, I need some air. And like starts walking out of the room. And
Can I see,
mhm.
sorry, just how many like steins there are on the table?
Between the dwarf that collapsed, what a Ross drank, and your sister, there's probably a good 15 mugs on the table.
Okay. Oh boy.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's about 5 apiece ish. Yeah, the other dwarf only got about 3 down. And Claire's not walking the steadiest.
She's got a little
That's
wibble
why-
to her wobble.
She's got a little refreshment about her.
That's why Ross is sitting down, staring very contemplatively at her mug.
Mm-hmm.
And Sebastian, looking over the book, will say, "So, we took care of Jolastina. Got her settled in. They're giving her a bath right now. She looked in rough shape."
I can only imagine.
Haven't really spoken with her yet. Dad was doing that, but you did the right thing bringing her here. No offense to the guard. He kind of like lowers his voice, but they tend to prefer a more heavy-handed approach to dealing with sick people.
Rhea will ever so slightly look over towards Ross and then quickly look away. Yes, well, it's only right that we try to do what we can.
Think she can be saved?
Sebastian would look at you and lightly shrug. "I'm not sure. She's certainly troubled, that one. But I can tell you this. If anyone could redeem her, if anyone could help her find a path to the light, it's our Father. I love helping people, trying to ease their pain, but him? Father has a... Well, I don't know, Rhea. I guess we'd have to say that he's been touched by the gods. He has a gift. He has a way of seeing into your soul and pulling out the best in you that I don't think I'll ever be able to measure up to."
Well, it's a good thing no one ever said you needed to.
Well, I mean, you could at least try and give me some encouragements.
Has Claire not done that enough for you?
Oh, Claire. She keeps trying to drag me off on her adventures. She doesn't understand that they need me here. There's so many people that need my help. But Claire will be Claire. Wouldn't have it any other way. And there you are, sitting right in between. Eager to go off on an adventure, but so wanting to help others. Sometimes I think you got the best of both of us and none of the weaknesses. At least I can hope.
She just blushes.
And you're Shala, if I heard correctly. And Shala just kind of nods. Well, something I should know about there? She looks at you and Rhea.
Rio will just sort of look over to Shala.
Shala, looks at you and then, takes a deep breath and says, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to say or what would be clever or funny. I'm not sure. I love your sister. And then there's a pause and Sebastian goes, well, I don't see any reason to say anything else. I'd say you pretty much got it covered. Good on you. And glances at Rhea. Good luck. And he stands up quickly.
Mm-hmm. I'll get him later. That's fine.
Quickly out of striking distance. Rhea has a 5-foot range.
So, Shala, how goes meeting the people here?
Shala kind of blushes a little bit. It is hard, but oh, Ross.
Hang in there. It'll get easier.
No, it's amazing. I told you about my family. About what their concept of family is. I know between you and Weary and Amelia and now Rhea and her family that just how wrong they are.
What do you mean?
This is family. Drinking at a
Oh.
table, quipping with each other, smiling, winking, giving presents.
How wrong your family is. I thought you were saying... Sorry. Didn't follow you at first.
No, it's okay. You've obviously had quite a lot of refreshment. Are you okay?
I'm fine. I'm okay. No, it was a long ride. I needed something to drink, and seems like staying here I can stay out of trouble.
Actually, that might not be a bad idea. She shakily grabs a cup and just starts downing it.
Don't drink too fast.
Rhea is shook.
Never mind.
She puts it on the table and goes, "Oh wow. What is that?"
Yeah, it's strong. Just give it a second.
Roll a Constitution save. I want to see her fail this.
I know. Who has access to her sheet?
I have it up right now.
Yeah, roll a Constitution save.
Oh my god.
Boy. Does the bonus work now since Rhea is
Yes, Rhea, I think, would encourage her.
Okay, so
the only reason why it didn't work before is because Claire had no interest.
Oh shit. Rhea's doing Shala's doing fine.
Yeah.
Wow.
Shala,
That's a 24.
the drink seems to kind of loosen her up, almost like a drunken master, that loosen her up a bit, but not take her faculties out. And she goes, "Oh my gosh, I think that's exactly what I needed." Rhea, I love you, and I love your family, and I'm so glad I'm here.
Okay, I'm gonna go now.
Constitution
gonna-
saving throws can only go so far.
Yeah, I saw some nice paintings down the hall. Bye.
I think Ria's still recovering from seeing her down that drink.
I think actually that's a good place to end the session for the night. I know you still have 2 presents to get out. We can deal with that at the start of next session.
No worries.
But that's a good place to stop for the night, I think. As next session, we will continue this adventure of terrible, dark, grim events within the walls of the Lilac Order. Dun dun dun.
It's very foreboding.
I'm being sarcastic. Like I can just imagine someone's out there going, "Wait, what? Did I miss? Like I walked away for 5 minutes. What did I miss?"
What do they do in the Lilac Order?
Fred the dragon returns.
You walk away with your drink for 1 second. You missed the part where the blood was seeping down the walls.
Oh shit.
And the walls will ooze green slime.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you next week. Ta-ta.
Bye. Bye.